Welcome to Claim Your Power Hour. I'm here with Time Master Nicole, and
Hi.
Debbie's coming. She's just running behind. So I'm going to give everybody a moment to sign on and answer her. So, how have you been, Nicole?
I'm doing well, thank you. The summer has gone by pretty quickly, but I'm enjoying it.
How's your Taya practice treating you? You've taken a little break from mastery, so I haven't seen you in a little while.
I know, and I miss it dearly. And I've had a lot go on for myself. Like I was talking to Carrie about it earlier. I've created many obstacles for myself this past summer. And the number one takeaway for me is the level of clarity that I get each time I go through an obstacle. And I did not have that level of awareness, clarity, connection until I came across Taya Boot Camp. So anything that I go through now, as opposed to pre-Taya life, it has more meaning and connection for me, and uh, and then I can just like have fun with it.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I always tell people that Taya doesn't solve vibrational flow or polarity at all. Nothing
yeah.
does. Nothing does. But it definitely gives you tools to deal with it very, very differently.
hmm Yes. And I'm still detuning people that root transgressors and branches of stuff that I wouldn't have even had the clarity to know was still in the back of my mind if it had been for boot camp. Like I just love all the process, so I won't ever go out too far with my tire practice. Like it's something that I do intentionally every day, but I still get caught up in autopilot sometimes. That's just my default vibration. And so I'm like, oh, here it is again, creeping up. And what are we going to do to change it? So it's so powerful having that clarity.
Yeah, yeah.
hmm
I love the ever unfolding nuances that this practice gives us
Yeah.
because there's just always new levels of practice and new levels of clarity that are coming up. So if you're watching live, be sure to go through the YouTube interface and say hi. We can see that on this end if you do, and if you have questions for us. I'm taking a channeling break these days, so the stream. I'm not channeling the stream directly, but the stream is present all the time. And I have found that there are a lot of things that I can channel answers to, whether I'm in that trance state or not. So if you have questions, you can always ask questions, and if I can't answer them, I will tell you I can't answer them. I don't know. So I've yet to be stumped with a stream question though, really. Um,
hmm
so since you haven't been on in a while,
Yeah.
we've talked a lot about the Matrix, and I really understand the reason I feel like I'm able to really take a break from channeling is because I feel like I have spent 5 years now sharing the stream, and that when they got into the human operating system and the Matrix and the talk about everyone defaults to an operating system, that sort of closed the whole loop on all of it for me. Like, that's what all this has been about the whole time, is
hmm
that yes, we create our own reality, and yes, universal law is very simple. We create with our consciousness, really. We're not even really attracting anything, we're just creating it with our mind and having this experience based on our perspective. So since we understand that, then we come to understand how important a belief system is, because your belief system is what's really creating your reality. So the all of the talk about the matrix is simply the collective consciousness of humanity, that belief system, and what we gather from it as human beings, and how it influences our operating system that we create for ourselves. So it's about recognizing what the matrix is, not necessarily judging it, or not judging it at all, hopefully, and simply knowing, being aware of what is the matrix and what is universal law, and then sharpening your own belief system to align more with the things that you want to experience in life.
Mhm.
That's the whole thing.
Yes.
That's the whole thing right there. And it took, 5 years to get there of channeling to fully close the loop. But I've never heard anything that closes that loop the way all of that information and everything they've taught us does. And then the constant return to the four pillars, return to the four pillars, return to the four pillars.
Yeah.
Those four things that we do in Taya give you everything that you need to create, upgrade, and continue to expand your operating system. Hi, Cheryl. Good to see you. Everybody, I see there's more people on, so be sure to say hello. If you have questions for myself or Nicole, Nicole is a Taya Bootcamp graduate, if you don't know her. And she was in Taya Mastery, once a master, always a master. So you are a Taya Master, but you were in Taya Mastery for about a year, and then you decided to take a break. And so it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while, and it's good to have you back on. So if you have questions for Nicole or myself, questions about Taya, if you have stream centric questions, you can ask those, and we'll challenge ourselves to see if we can get the stream to flow enough in this interaction to get an answer for you.
Mhm.
I find that they're never far away.
No, I feel like we're all connected too. I love that so much because when I reach out to other members in the Thai community, someone's going through a similar situation. The details might be a little bit different, the background might seem a little bit different, but the feelings are the same. And like it just like the conversations that I have, it just like is amazing. It's so amazing. I love it.
Well, that's why I wanted to move over to Patreon so that we could have a place for community that didn't have to exist on social media, because so many people
Yeah.
are just wanting to get away from social media these days. And I respect that. I feel the same way about a lot of it.
Mhm.
And this is just a place where we can create and nurture a community. And I think the
Yes.
community aspect of all this is very important. I see now, it's funny, I see, we talk about polarity and there's positive and negative and everything. I see with religions and cults and things like that, I see the positive side of those things as much as I see the negative side. The negative side
Yeah.
is all of the control. You're not allowed to talk to other people. You're not allowed to, associate with people that aren't in the cult and that sort of thing. That I don't see any upside to that for anyone. But the community and the mechanisms that sort of keep you tied to it, I understand it's very easy when you're shifting into a new operating system to sort of get drawn back into an old one, or to get
Yeah.
drawn into other ones, and then
Yeah.
you're sort of bouncing all over the place. And so I see why whoever created these belief systems built that stuff in. But I think usually what we're seeing is they get corrupted in time because people want to monetize it, and then they want to, force people to stay in and demonize people that aren't in that belief system. We're not doing any of that. We're not. Taya will
Yeah.
never be that. If it starts
Yeah.
turning into that, it's not Taya anymore. It is not the stream anymore. But we have to hold ourselves accountable to keep our own practice up, though, because there's no threat of going to hell. Whatever keeps people in. I think for a lot of people, though, that sense of belonging to something is what keeps them there.
Yeah.
So it's okay to take that from those entities and utilize that in Taya. It's okay to feel like a sense of belonging and a sense of community within the Taya world is, I think, a good thing.
I agree. I'm grateful for Taya because Taya came into my life when my world was imploding. And I know that for me, 6 years ago, I started to question the Matrix more intensely, and then stumbled upon Taya. So I'm like grateful for that. And when I had signed up for boot camp, my daughter was a year old. I just separated from her dad. I was living with a friend. She and I had moved there, and like I just didn't know which way was up. So I was so grateful to have the community because it was like I was kind of starting my spiritual journey on a level that I had never navigated before. And if I didn't have the support that I have received in the Thai community, I wouldn't have been able to heal and expand and grow as much as I have in these past 3 years. And I just love how we all show up for each other in the most magical way all the time. Like sometimes I'll be thinking of somebody and they'll text me or send me a message, and it's like we're all thinking of each other. We're all energetically at that spot cheering each other on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. And I kind of got back into Facebook a little bit over the weekend. And I love going into Base Camp and seeing that, people are still active in Base Camp. We still have the Tire Practice Facebook group
Mhm.
that can be utilized as well. It seemed like so many people were wanting to get off of Facebook
Yeah.
that we kind of just quit nurturing that group and kind of moved everything over here to Patreon. So it's all streamlined now. And I do like doing everything here because it doesn't matter whether you're doing just the free portion, or you're doing the expanded podcast, or you're doing the live stream, or you're doing coaching, or you're doing boot camp, or you're doing mastery. Starting next year, all of it is going to be in Patreon. So we've already started doing boot camp in Patreon, and then the mastery and expanded and all that will all be there. So the higher you go in the tiers, you get your coaching tier, and then you get everything else that we're doing. So if you're in and out of coaching, you can downgrade, but you can still be in the community. I like
Mhm.
that. I like that a lot, that we have this one space where everybody that's practicing Taya, regardless of boot camp or not, have a place to go.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's been really good. So the podcast has been on hiatus for the summer, and we are switching over. We have a new production team starting on it. And so we do have podcasts that are ready to go out. They're just being produced now. So in the next week or so, we should see the podcast resume, which is nice.
Oh,
And that will be
nice.
the regular podcast, just like we've always had and always will have. And then the expanded version of the podcast on Patreon.
Mhm.
So, and I want to make some changes to the podcast too. I just want to shake some things up a little bit and really spend some time for a while exploring the stream's teachings from my human perspective with other people that are also practicing Taya and exploring those
Mhm.
teachings, and just spend time doing that. They have sort of said, we've given you everything.
Yeah. I
You,
know.
you have everything you really need to know. Everything else from there is sort of entertainment. I thought that
Yeah.
was interesting. That came up, that this is sort of a source of entertainment, asking all these questions and things like that. But we don't need to ask questions about the future because we're creating the future. Hence, claim your
Yes.
power. Um, People that are into fortune telling, astrology, people that are into going to see psychics about what's next and all of that. There's nothing wrong with doing any of those things.
Mhm.
But from the stream, we have learned that we are creating it, and we have the power to shift it and change it. And we're not victims of the vibrational flow, which is what astrology essentially is. We are creating that reality, and learning to operate your day to day life with the twists and turns of vibrational flow is so valuable.
Mhm.
Because yes,
Yes.
maybe Mercury's in retrograde, but if you're sitting around waiting for things to go wrong, well, then you're creating that reality.
Yes. Yes. And I love the practical application piece of it. That was important for me because I needed tools to learn to navigate through all this stuff. Hi, Debbie.
Debbie's here.
Hey,
And having the practical application and the whole zooming out and letting people have their own experiences has really helped me, especially this past year with everything that's been going on in the world.
How are you, Debbie?
I'm good. I am good. It's been a busy few weeks.
Good.
Yeah.
Debbie has some news. Do you want to share your news?
Sure. Well, first, hi, Nicole. How are you, honey?
Good. It's so good to see you, Debbie.
It's super great to see you. David, it is great to see you as always, even fuzzy.
Am I
Your
fuzzy?
internet's fuzzy.
My internet's fuzzy?
It's fuzzy. You look like you're coming in from another dimension.
Oh, well, I am, so.
Beat me up, Scotty. Woo-hoo. Hello, everybody out there in Patreon land. How are you doing? Okay, so the update is this. The last time I was here, I told you all I had something under that we were brewing, Taya style. So I did. I manifested, and y'all are going to just trip on this, a 20-acre ranch in Colorado, 3,500 square foot house with a studio apartment the other side of it has the playhouse, which in the playhouse is actually a jacuzzi and sauna room. So it's just the neatest thing ever. Oh, it has an artesian well, so like it's better than Voss. Sorry, Voss. I love you.
It's going to be Debbie G water real soon.
Debbie G water. Seriously, I mean,
Yes.
yeah, you could. We had it tested, and so that was the first one. And considering 3 years ago, I didn't know where the hell I was going. This is some serious business right now.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Very, very cabiny, woodsy. Very cool and funky. I like that. It has a really good vibe. It makes me think of you. It looked like you already.
That's what my son said. He's like, it's got that hippy dippy vibe, Mom.
Yeah.
It does. So it's going to serve for retreats, and it's 20 minutes from major destinations in Colorado. So like the sand dunes and stuff, but I have more. So I work for Unify now. That's a big deal. And I am one of the Unify goddesses. So I was in Malibu on Lionsgate, sitting there looking at a view of the ocean from the Rafi Lounge, doing a huge ceremony. It was called Awaken something. Awaken.
Awaken something, question mark.
Okay, hold tight. But here's the deal. I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, this one lady walks up, and I'm like, she looks at me, and I look at her, and we both recognize each other. And she says, I don't know you, but I love you. And I'm like, aren't you Kathleen? And she's like, oh my God, who are you? It's Debbie. I haven't seen her in 4 years. And I'm thinking, my God, did I change that much? Holy cannoli. Anyway, it was hilarious. So here I am just running into people I know. Fantuzzi was there, and I'm just like, are you kidding? So then we were up at her house in Topanga, Shangri-La. So, and I've got cherries to put on top. You ready? Yes. So then we decided, okay, so the cars we have are not Colorado cars. We're going to need to get a truck. We need a truck because we need something to haul the horse. Okay? The horses and the goats. So,
well, wait a minute. Are the horses and goats coming with the ranch, or are you going to have to secure horses and goats somewhere else?
Well, there is an area. The barn. I want a temperature controlled barn, so that I was looking at the barndominiums and stuff like that. Seriously, but there is an area for that, for both agriculture as well as for the livestock. So,
like alpaca.
Well, there's alpacas. I don't want an alpaca. I went
through a whole alpaca phase a little while ago.
We really did go through an alpaca. I'm still in the alpaca phase.
I still follow them on Instagram. Yeah.
Me too.
They're cute though. So the last cherry on top is simply we went and bought a Dodge Ram LeMary, and it's freaking rad. I mean, it's
the big one, the big full size.
Nice. Big with a Hemi in it, and it's just loaded and it's plush, and it just drives like a little baby. It's nice. Absolutely. So now we have 3 cars and a ranch. I don't even know. Nice. Taya, y'all. Taya.
Yes. It's been tired.
Well, I can't wait to come visit and see it.
Me too.
Maybe I'll have a little winter this year. So I'm not going to get it here in Palm Springs, that's for sure. It's 105 degrees here today. I'm ready for a little crisp air, I think. So hi to everybody that's watching live. If you have questions, we are just claiming our power. We're talking Taya stuff. We're talking stream stuff. So anything that you want to ask nothing's ever off limits here. So type in questions if you have them for us, any of us. So you have 2 Taya Bootcamp graduates, Taya Master, and somebody that's been talking to the stream for 5 solid years. Who I should call you the Stream Master, Debbie. You've probably talked to the stream more than anybody.
Years. Yeah, I was just This is so much, it is my favorite thing in the world. Like literally, I was just looking at the Grand Cherokee we just bought, and that was the other one I was going to tell you too. Just gorgeous. Off road, 4-wheel drive. I'll tell you what, y'all are coming to my house. Anyway, I was like, I left. I'm like, Joe, you're going to need to handle this. I got to go. I'm coming here so that I can talk to the stream. Are you kidding me? This is the time to get recentered and rebalanced for me. I'm here because I'm selfish.
Well, the stream is on summer vacation, so you're going to get the stream through me, but not the way that you normally get the stream through me. The stream's taking a break. Did I not tell you that, Debbie? The stream's taking a break.
No, you didn't tell me the stream was taking a break. Since when does the stream take a break? The stream doesn't take a break.
The stream is always here. I can talk stream anytime you want me to talk stream. The trans channeling stuff, I'm taking a little break from the trans channeling stuff.
Okay.
Because the trans channeling stuff was really ravaging my physical vehicle. I'll leave it at that. Because I was trying to do it all the time. And a mastering meeting not long ago, the stream said basically, you don't need us to keep showing up like this. We've given you everything that you need. And now go take what we've given you over the last 5 years and start applying it in your lives and sharing it with humanity. Doesn't mean they're never going to show back up. In fact, I did a channel guided meditation today for all the Patreon members. We're going to be giving all of our members access to a new guided meditation called Out of the Matrix. And I know Carrie is on, and she got to listen to the preview today, or maybe she had to listen to the preview today, depending on her perspective. I don't know. But she can share, maybe if you're still on, Carrie, you can share your thoughts on it. But it's the first guided meditation that I've done in a few years. We have several that have been on the website forever that lots of people have. Originally, we had an app that it was all on, but I didn't want to keep the app was a whole lot of work, and I just didn't want to do all of that. So now it's a newly recorded MP3 that we'll be sharing for all the subscribers on Patreon. So you'll be getting that within the next week or two. It needs to be polished and edited and all that. So Carrie listened to it. Like I said, if you want to comment on what you thought about it, but it was all about, it was a guided meditation to really get you out of the matrix, which is really cool because that's what their teachings are all about, is raising your vibration to the point where you're claiming your power. You're not susceptible to the matrix any longer because you are so source aligned, so source allowing, really, that the matrix doesn't have that grasp that it has on everybody. That fear and judgment grasp. And we all know what that is, right? We all know that fear and judgment vibe that's going out there, all of the divisiveness with politics and all of the fear and all of the, you're going to get the next, pandemic is coming and the economy is collapsing and the United States is turning into Handmaid's Tale and you better be fearful. And it's not just the United States. That stuff is brewing everywhere because humanity is looking to exit the matrix. And what is a vibration like that going to do? It wants to stay alive. And so it's going to get even scarier trying to pull you back into it. But you don't have to be part of that. That's the whole message. That's the whole message of the last 5 years is they showed up, they delivered a mindset practice, we taught it to people all over the world. We know what it is. Now we're creating community around it, and we know it works. We know it works. We see well-being all around us. Look what the last 2 years have delivered, all of this damn fear and masks and lockdowns and all this crap. And we've moved through that. And we moved through it as a community, laughing about it mostly, having our experiences in it. I think everybody has been diagnosed with COVID at some point by now, but you never did. But, I tested positive for it once, but, it was no big deal. So there are people for whom it was a very big deal and they're terrified of it. And they still talk about it every day. And it was such a traumatic thing and humanity was traumatized by it. But that doesn't have to be. And whatever's coming next doesn't have to impact us that way. And whatever economic downturn may or may not be brewing doesn't have to impact us. I have used these teachings long enough in my personal life to know that we just go through these experiences. And it's not about being perfect all the time. It's really about moving through the experience ultimately finding appreciation for the experience. And it's amazing to me how people that haven't discovered these teachings yet, they're so terrified of just an experience.
Yeah.
But I look at everything now as just that. Everything is just experience. Everything that's happened in my life, everything that happens across humanity, everything that's being, pushed in the news media that we're supposed to be terrified of, it's just an experience and physical that's always going to be temporary no matter what. So why make any of it this big scary thing?
Well, I have an interesting thing to share, and I want to get both of you. I want your feedback on this. Okay. Here's this. I just went through this, so this is going to be interesting. Anti-nuclear prayer for disarmament of the nuclear weapons. Because I'm working with Unify, I was brought in to partake in this, and I ran. Actually, Friday night I was sick as could be, and I ran a 4-hour conference online, sick as a dog. It was insane. And here was the funny part. I couldn't decide. I hear the stream saying everything's an experience, and if you're focusing on it, and if they're putting fear out there. But what the message was how that we need to come together in unity and pray, that we need to join each other in love and compassion. The overall message wasn't the anti-nuclear war. Now, they did go over like the things that happened in Hiroshima, and they did go over the things that happened, and the reason that, praying for this is so important. But when we have the intention of prayer behind the awareness that you're bringing to something like anti-nuclear prayer, is that still putting a focus on it in the negative, or is it an experience that we are consciously working together to shift so that it's no longer existent? The Mandela effect, if you will.
Yeah, I think it depends on how you're receiving and processing that, right? That we're going to get together and we're going to focus on peace. We're going to focus on harmony. We're going to focus on well-being. We're aware that there are things in the matrix that are opposite of that or opposing that, but we're going to focus on, in prayer or however you choose to focus, on what we're looking for, which is to move through the experience of the threat without being drawn into the threat. So you have the threat that's out there. You can acknowledge the threat and appreciate the threat. It's sort of like appreciating the matrix altogether, because we talk about the matrix so much. Sometimes people will say, well, gosh, you're really judging the matrix. Well, the stream has said very clearly, because I went back and rewrote the whole Taya book, the book I've been writing for 5 years.
Yeah.
I just spent the first part of the half of this year rewriting the whole thing, putting the matrix into it. And it was made very clear in the book that you can have awareness and appreciation of something, and appreciation means deep understanding. So Hiroshima, deep understanding that this dramatic act ended that war, and there was, catastrophic, devastating consequences for Hiroshima for sure, but globally, what was the outcome of that act globally?
Right.
So again, like anything else, we're in a polarized environment. So you've got positive and negative in everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you can simply have deep understanding of the negative, that many people were returned to their completed state instantaneously, and then many others suffered, physical pain as a result of all of that. But ultimately, the stream has said this over and over again: that positive is always more powerful than negative. The positive, you can see it as the positive outcome of the ending of that war, had a far greater impact than the negative of Hiroshima. So there's always different ways to look at things, but you can always view anything through the lens of source, which is always the lens of appreciation, viewing anyone and everyone and everything as eternal strands of consciousness, not the physical being, because the physical being is going to have an end. The physical being is going to have the transition experience, whether it's in war or dying peacefully at home, of old age or some ailment or something like that. We're all going to have that experience. It's a given. And the Matrix teaches us to fear it. But think of how damaging or how controlling the idea is of teaching someone to fear something that they know is inevitable. Think of the anxiety that creates in everyone, this collective consciousness anxiety of, gosh, we're just all marching to our death, right? And if you look at it as something that should not be, then that's going to create suffering. But we're all moving through a human experience that's going to have an end. And I have experienced watching someone transition now, and that's very recent. It was a beautiful thing to just be in the presence of. An absolute beautiful thing to be in the presence of. Very different experience than a lot of people would make it out to be or have in that moment. So I think that you can participate in something like that. You can appreciate that there may be people that are in participation with you that are fearful, and just appreciate that they are where they are. And in your vibration, you're going to focus on what you know will work, which is focusing on peace and unity and harmony and well-being, as opposed to, oh my gosh, we better pray away, because there's no evidence of that working for anything. The more we demonize school shootings, the more school shootings we experience. And you can go through history and find, thing after thing after thing after thing that lived a long, healthy lifespan because it was pushed against for so long. In fact, if you really think about it, if you really want to be cynical about it, we don't solve many problems across humanity. I think the thing that ends up solving most of our problems is when we figure out how to monetize the solving of it, right? Or the treating of the problem. And the same things that were complained about when I was really young in the early 1970s, if you would go back and watch an old newsreel, you could change the characters and keep the same script and have it being reported today. The world is always going to be a contrasting place. There's always going to be the threat of destruction. There's always going to be some bad person out there looking to inflict pain and suffering and looking to really spread fear. There's a lot of power in spreading fear. Contrasting environment, but we're expansive beings. So in the fact that we're expansive beings, we do want improvement. And if you are praying in the spirit of improvement, in the spirit of well-being and unity, I don't see how that's a bad thing at all. I think that that's a good thing for everyone that's believing that way.
I love that. But I think that when you get people together, I like the idea of bringing an awareness to actually join together in peace.
Mm.
How many people, if they can keep it at the right vibration, but all of it is just an experience. I want to touch on the death, and then Nicole, I got to hear what you got to say about this. So just a couple of days ago, I was talking to Joe, and I'm like, well, he said something like, well, you're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to die. Everyone here, you're all going to die. Hate to tell you. No, just kidding. Like David, like you were saying, the whole idea behind death, we are taught to fear it when and we spend our life in this fear of this thing that isn't a thing. And instead of embracing the moment of the now and deep appreciation, that's how you Taya. That's it,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I love what you're talking
Taya
about.
is you can walk into any situation, even if you walk into a group of people that aren't necessarily thinking the way that we think.
Yeah.
We're going to pray. We're going to really scare the hell out of everybody talking about nuclear war. Then we're going to pray it away. You get to go in and have your experience because you're claiming your power. You're going to go in and have your experience. You don't have to hide from that. Think of how many spiritual practices sort of guide you to shy away or hide from things. Oh, you're not allowed to watch TV. Oh, you better not watch the news. Oh, you better stay away from media. You better stay away from all that stuff because it's just going to drag your vibe down. The thing I love about Taya and what the stream is offering us, is be a human, have your humanity, have your human experience, get out there and get in the muck and understand that these tools allow you to travel through any experience very differently than you do when you're in the Matrix.
I think I agree with that. Nicole, what's going on, chickadee?
So much. I just love when we all think about the same types of conversations and topics because I was just talking to Carrie about the fear that I had 7 years after the fact of getting divorced and 3 years practicing Taya. So it took me that amount of time, which is fine, to navigate through the fear and unblock all of my ex-husband's family and friends on my Facebook because that energy was just so heavy of having them blocked. I'm like, why do I have to fear these people that aren't even in my life anymore? It was definitely taking back my power. And then the death thing, Taya has totally, my experience with Taya has totally changed my perspective of death. And I was able to be with my dad when he was dying 2 years ago. And we had an amazing conversations. And for me, I literally thought that he was just being born into his next life because the way his breathing was going, and it was just like this laborious type of breathing. I was like, you're being born into your new life, and I'm super excited for you. So I've always had a zoomed out perspective about death, but now it's way more exciting than it used to be because I'm like, where am I going to show up next? And I'm really into like the timeline things, jumping timelines and experiencing the past and the future. But the magic for me is in the now. And I think I've been clearing out all of the fear of the past and the future to be able to enjoy the now more.
I love that you just said that because, and first off, let me congratulate you for letting go of that which no longer served you at all.
Thank you.
Just allowing those that were rating you so you could just naturally lift up because the forgiveness comes from within and it's not something has to do with anybody else. So that you rocked that major. And I fully understand what you went through. I get it completely. Yeah. So that's beautiful. Not worrying about others' opinions of you is sweet.
Oh gosh.
It's not the most freeing thing ever, right?
Yes.
To detune the concern, the comparison that we do to ourselves against what society expects of us or other people, and the detuning of what other people think.
Yeah. I mean, I'm grateful for that because that's one of the biggest things I've gotten out of Taya. I can like automatically start crying about it because I went through a lot of quote unquote trauma and different programs and therapy. And it wasn't until Taya that I was like, I'm freaking amazing. I'm human. I don't have to judge other people's experiences, but I don't have to judge mine either as harshly as I did. The matrix took away the humanness of the experience. And now I get to play and be a human and enjoy it more.
That's beautiful. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
That's how that works.
Well, the feeling that I have right now, okay, I'm going to tell you all something. This is how Taya works, and I want you to catch this. This is good. Well, Nicole, you know this, and David, you know this. For anybody who's watching that's new out of Taya or just getting a handle on this, I want you to take this. Here I was 3 years ago with my son, don't know where we're going. No car, no clueless, right? People in there, Carrie's got my back, David, I'm doing Taya at this time. That's when I'm doing it. So it's actually a little bit longer than 3 years ago, like 3.5 or so. The feeling I had, not knowing and embracing the unknown and appreciating the experience for this experience it was, is the same feeling I have buying a ranch in Colorado. It's the same feeling I have getting a cool ass truck. It doesn't change. The vibration is what it is. Like, it is a deep appreciation for life. It isn't about the item or the thing or the whatever. And though I love to come on here and tell you all that, like, you could have anything you want. Your dreams are just seconds from manifesting and being part of your life. But thinking that you need the thing is going to keep you from getting the thing because you're not appreciating where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
And Taya gives you these tools to defuse and detune and create an experience so you can do that. And I'm not just, saying this. I'm living this. I'm proof. Nicole is proof. She just did that's a big step, you know, big.
Yeah,
Seriously.
my daughter's away this week, so I utilize the time as much as I can to shift through stuff because I'm in that area again. I moved to the beach 3 summers ago with my daughter, and it was like one of the biggest manifestations. It was amazing result of all of the work I'd done in Taya. And now, like I don't know, I would say the past 6 to 8 months, like my life has just thrown me curveball after curveball, although I've done that myself. And I feel like I'm working on eliminating the fear for whatever's coming next because it's so big and it's so huge that I don't even know how to navigate the territory yet, but I have you all to help me. And it's like the most amazing life experience that I've had.
I love this. Do you know what I do now when if I get the stuff I perceive as ew coming at me, I'll just be the universe is conspiring in my favor right now. The universe is conspiring in my favor.
Yes.
Period. And I keep saying it over and over and over. And I don't care if I sound like a nutbag. The universe is, but Debbie, you've got this and it's exploding over there. Isn't that nice? It's working in my favor. See, but it always
Plus,
is.
because again, we've got that matrix thing that teaches you that anything that seems like a hiccup, oh no, it's falling apart. That's terrible. It's the worst thing ever. This obviously doesn't work, you know. And really, what that is vibrational flow, and the purpose of vibrational flow is the vibration goes down, allows some unraveling of a creation, so that you can create even better.
Yeah.
On any topic. That is the process of creation, and nobody tells us that except for the stream. And now we know.
Now you know.
Well, that's the real secret, right? The real secret, you know, the book, The Secret, is we create our own reality, i.e. law of attraction. To me, the real secret is, but the other thing is that we have this thing called vibrational flow that ensures that we have this mix of positive and negative, but the negative always exists just to allow the creation of more positive. That's it. So from the eyes of source, there is no negative. Everything is positive because it's all creative energy. Mm-hmm. But we've been taught, oh, that's terrible. Oh, you had a setback. That's awful. You know, no, it's not. Nothing is awful. Everything is an experience. It's only awful if we decide to suffer in it.
Well, you know what was a crack up is when I was there at that place, I would get people, how are you? Are you okay? How can you do that? And I'd be like, is there an option I don't know about? You know but that observation, people would just be like, oh, no, I can't believe you slept in your car. Yeah, and we did it by choice that night. So because it was on the beach and we said, oh, screw it. Why are we going to pay $200 for a hotel tonight? We'll do that tomorrow. It was an adventure.
Yeah.
But other people, so that's why I have to keep quiet sometimes, because I don't need to hear outside noise. I need to trust my own source connection and stay in vibrational flow.
Yeah, the Matrix has endless disciples to attempt to draw you back in, right?
Oh, yes.
And it's okay. It's okay. But the more you practice this, the more you're not even around that energy. And then when you are, you can just appreciate it. That's just where they are. And they don't see the beauty in your experience. And it's isn't it good that you do? Because then you get to enjoy everything.
Oh, I'm enjoying everything. I'm standing. Whether I'm standing at the Rafi Lounge in Malibu, God, it was ridiculous. Looking at the ocean, it was crazy. Yes. It was crazy. They're serving us sushi, and we're the ones we're being pampered by this place. Or I'm sitting in the park with my dog, or sitting by myself. The vibration doesn't change based upon my outward experience. It stays. That's what my hiccup was waiting for some outside experience to give me the thing that I thought that
I'll be happy when, right?
Oh, there's no win and win, no WIN and WHN. Don't you all know?
Yes. And I think that's why I created so many obstacles these past few months, and especially the past few weeks, it's like maintaining that positivity, that trust in the universe, even though everything on the outside hasn't changed, everything on the inside is changing for me.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And the outside will eventually catch up, or it won't, but I'm still having the experience of total freedom and clarity.
The outside will catch up when you accept it as it is. I'm talking to me right now.
I like
Just
that.
saying.
It's so true.
Very nice. Well, let's wrap up. We have 10 minutes left. If there's any questions from anybody that's watching, there are a lot of you on watching, so be sure to say hi if you haven't already. Hi to Alex and Carrie and Cheryl again. I see some comments and things in here, but I think we've already covered most of them. Carrie said regarding the guided meditation, I have no words yet. However, the love that flowed through it made my eyes leak, which is why she's watching and not joining on camera tonight. Okay.
That's cute.
So I guess she liked it. I'll take that as a positive review. But yeah, I'm excited to share that. We'll be sharing that in the next week or so with everybody on Patreon to listen to whenever you want. So all of this matrix stuff has now been added to the book. I'm finished with the book finally after 5 years. Katarina is editing the book now, and we want to publish it in 2023. And I'm looking forward to just enjoying the rest of summer and this little break that we have with the stream, and the podcast has been on a break, but I'm really, really, really looking forward to getting back into it all in the fall, getting just back into getting the podcast out every week. We have 4 episodes that are about to go out pretty quickly because we switched over our production person. And so now we have a whole new production team. And the podcast is probably going to change a little bit, but the content is going to still be Stream and Taya as always. And I love all these roundtables that we're doing. We're just doing this so for all of our lives right now. We're inviting everybody in the community on. They can come and be on camera just like this, just like Nicole. Of course, Debbie is always here with me on Thursday nights. And just chat about what's going on in your practice, put faces to names, all get to know each other within this community. Because like I said, I think the community aspect of it is very important. And we have a nice global community that's growing all the time. So we're all Taists here. We're all practicing Taya, among other things, and learning to apply the Stream's teachings in our lives because we see how well it works. We see how it just makes every experience something that is joyous, regardless of what it looks like on the outside. On the inside, we know that, gosh, this is an amazing journey. This is an amazing experience, even if it's not the Instagram version of what life is supposed to be all the time. Sounds like Debbie's got a lot of Instagram coming up, though.
I do.
New vehicle, new ranch, all of that. Have you shared any pictures publicly of the ranch yet?
I did on Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, cool.
But I shared a video, but it's all like the furniture and for the old owner and all of that. We're heading out at the end of the month and we're going to furnish it, start Airbnb. So it will be available for everybody. We'll let you know. The water alone is the reason to come. Seriously. Gratitude Sanctuary is waiting for you.
So all of your water there is fed from a natural spring that's on the property?
It is from our well. Yeah, we have an artisan well. It's crazy.
Cool.
We have a well house.
So
A well
amazing.
house with a well.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's so
love
rad.
it, Debbie. I love it.
Well, you have to get the water tested when you're buying out there, and it came back. It was perfection all the way. Big old list of stuff. Completely, minerals are perfect. The pH is perfect. All of it. And yesterday I was in Carlsbad, and they sell their Carlsbad water from the artisan well. All the same stuff, and I'm like, yeah.
Right.
Going in the water business. So, just saying.
Debbie G Water. Debbie G
Water.
H2O.
Yes. I love it.
Grata water.
Gratitude Water.
Gratitude
Mhm.
water. Actually,
You'll make millions on Gratitude Water. You should just
it's
do
going to be
Gratitude
gratitude water. That's what it's going to
Sure.
be. Gratitude water. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm
We'll do a little
excited.
commercial and just take a sip. I'm so grateful all of a sudden. I don't even know why. I'm just.
It's magic.
Speaking of magic, we have to close out by honoring Olivia Newton-John.
Mm.
Yes.
I've honestly always loved Olivia Newton-John. When I was one of my earliest memories, my parents got divorced when I was really young, and we would go back and visit my father. My father had a turntable and listened to actual records, and one of his favorite records was this country album from Olivia
Yep.
Newton-John. This was before Grease.
Have you never been?
These are pre-Grease years that I'm talking about. And she was a country singer. She was kind of like a Taylor Swift of her time, if you think about it, because she started out in country and then she did Grease, and then suddenly she was a pop star, and she was a huge pop star and had many, many, many hits, as we all know. And just every time I saw her, she just was this light. There was just something about her that she was just this glowing light. And I just adored her as a performer. And we like to play her song. I'm not playing it tonight, but we do like to play her song Magic, because if you listen to the lyrics of the song Magic, it sounds like the stream is speaking to you.
Yes.
So
Do you know?
go ahead.
I'm dying here. David, you know what I learned to play guitar on?
What?
Have you never been mellow? Please, Mr. Please. Don't play B-17. It was
I
our
love
song.
those
It
songs.
was our
I've been
song.
the past few days. I listen to Olivia Newton-John a couple of times a month, no matter
She's
what.
my idol.
So I have a whole playlist that I play on Sonos in the house.
I do
And
too.
Very heavily lately, for sure. Yeah. She's got some really good timeless stuff.
I didn't know you loved her as much as I did. And Magic, I play it every day when I get out of the shower. Every day. And then right after it's from this, you just ask, who to play. I can't say her name because she'll start doing it.
Yes.
Just ask her to play the Xanadu soundtrack. And ELO's on it too.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a cool. I don't remember liking the movie. Maybe I need to watch it again. I haven't seen it since 1980 when it came out. But the soundtrack is great. And there's clips of it. There's a bar in Palm Springs where they play all these musical clips and stuff. And they always play the one of them roller skating. I'm like, that's the campiest thing I've ever seen. They're roller skating to the Xanadu song or something like that. But yeah, really interesting. But so I just want to wish her well in her journey, whatever her next chapter is out there in her completed state. And acknowledge, everything that she's brought to us and what and I'm going to continue until I'm told to stop using her song we do it in the private meetings. I don't put it on YouTube because I can't put it on YouTube. But the private interactions that we have, we'll play that song as the intro a lot before the stream comes in.
It's 555 too.
Yes. Our numbers are lining up. Well, I want to thank everybody for watching live. And Nicole and Debbie, thank you so much for joining as always. We will be back on Sunday morning for Sunday Soul Food. Everyone is always, you're welcome to join us on camera if you want. We're doing all this roundtable stuff for now. Hope to see you all there. And if not, I'll be back on next week. I'm doing Taya Talk on Wednesday at 9 a.m. And I'll be back on Claim Your Power right here with Debbie and whoever else signs on with us 5 p.m. Pacific. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.